let me start that over. But no, the one thing I've learned in just this season that I'm in is the more I'm vulnerable, the more I'm helping others. The more, and that is my one passion and purpose in life, is the more I've learned to be okay trying to figure out what I'm digging through, or figuring out what I'm facing, or figuring out what I'm growing, or figuring out my uncomfortableness, the more I've been able to find the joy in the hard times, the more I've been able to be okay being uncomfortable and facing those fears. Because the more I've faced it head on, as much as it's not fun, like, it's made me show up even more. You know, this week has been a hard week for me, and I'm going to touch on this real quick. And this has been a very, very hard week. You guys saw the front view of everything, which was Kingston having surgery. You didn't see the behind of everything. It wasn't just Kingston having surgery. It was me dealing with some business stuff. It was me dealing with my family stuff. It was me dealing with relationship stuff. It was me dealing with myself. Okay? It was not just Kingston having surgery. This was probably one of the hardest weeks I've had since my ectopic pregnancy back in May last year. And I will be honest with that, because I want you guys to understand my vulnerabilities caused me to show up even more. Because the more I saw the obstacles, the more I found the gratitude. Truly, truly, truly. Because it is not easy sitting with yourself and figuring out where you need to grow. It's not easy sitting with yourself and getting accountable with yourself on maybe there's some things within yourself you need to fix. Like, that was where I was at this week. And so for me, I will kind of go over the rest of what I want to talk about, but the reason I want to pass this over to Krista is she has such a voice and such a message that truly she's in the seasons that I'm like, I've just grown from. And then it's like we grow on different levels, but we grow together, you guys. And that's why I want you guys to see a different face, because sometimes you guys look at me like I'm like this, and sometimes I'm not. My shoulders are heavy sometimes myself. So Chris is going to kick it off. I'm going to unmute you, babe, and then I will kick it off after.
Can you hear me? Am I good? Okay. So I'm Krista Smith. I am, Brittany is my sponsor. I've been in for almost a year. It's like a month away from a year. I'm a 12K leader. But I really just wanted to get on here and talk about the struggles that a lot of people aren't talking about. I think that we have the most amazing leaders and the most amazing training, but sometimes the questions that we have aren't answered, as far as like, we've obviously grown with Brittany. We've obviously grown through all this with Em and, all of the other leaders, but we haven't always seen their valleys. We've seen most of their mountaintops, but we haven't seen their valleys. And just the same thing, like the things that me and Brittany have gone through, you all may have seen some of it, but you all don't know the behind the scenes. So I was going to end it with this, but I think I'm going to start it with this. And this is something that I shared, and I'll probably go off of my notes just because I'm forgetful, but I really want to start with this because this is something I shared last month about the bonuses. When I came in, I earned the 4K and the 12K bonus, and then it was half. Like, it was a 2K and a 6K bonus. But I wanted to share what those bonuses did for my family, like what that money coming into our life once a month girl quit did for our family. So, and this goes along with everything that we've been through too. So basically, on September 21st, my husband had, I guess the day before then, he had came home from work early, and he works at FedEx. He came home from work early complaining that his back hurt, basically. And, I kind of shrugged it off and was like, okay, well, if you're sick, stay away from the baby. Like, I have a little girl that just turned 1. I was like, stay away from the baby, go to bed, take some dinner, and, like, do you, but don't come near her, basically. So then, Like the next morning he woke up with pelvic pain and everything else, and we knew that it was something serious. So I was like, okay, well, let's just go to the ER. Okay, first of all, time freedom. We were home. Like I could have took him to the ER and all of that. So just long story short, his appendix had ruptured sometime during the week, and he had no idea. So it was that bad. It was leaking, you know, all the toxins in his body, it was awful. So like what was a normal 2-day stay getting an appendix removed turned into 5 days for him. It was a lot. So the fact that, for one, I was able to be there because the bonuses that we had earned and being able to work from my phone was paying our bills, for one. But I didn't have to leave him at all. I was able to still work my business, still show up for myself and my team and my everything else from a chair in a hospital room. So that, if that isn't powerful enough, if that didn't show me like, you know, you're capable of doing whatever, then I don't know what has. But, you know, not only that, but from having a surgery like that, they put him out of work, obviously, but he works at FedEx. He couldn't even lift over 20 pounds for like 6 weeks. My daughter weighs 20 pounds, like my 1-year-old. She's fat anyways, but like that was a struggle in itself. So not only is he not working, not bringing in income, he can't help with the 1-year-old. We have 3 other kids that do all the things. They do all the sports, all the school, all the things. So all of this is on me, every bit of it. And I had shared this in the 12K group. If y'all weren't in that, then, you know, this, like I said, this is the first time y'all have heard this. But I didn't miss a second in the hospital. I didn't miss a second of his recovery. I took care of him. I took care of my 1-year-old. I took care of all the kids, all the homework, all the school, all the sports. Within that whole 6 to 8 weeks, the only thing that I missed was a couple of games while I was in the hospital with him. That's it. I did not miss a beat. These products fueled me. This income made the difference. So that right there should be powerful enough for anybody to show up for their business. You know, if you wake up tomorrow, I don't wish that on anybody, but if you wake up tomorrow and your husband's out of work or you're out of work or whatever, what are you going to do? That's what this is for. It's not just let me make a little extra money to pay a little extra on my bills or do a little shopping. It's to fall back on, because you never freaking know what's going to happen. You never know. So anyways, that lesson taught me that, like, I would use the excuse, well, my kid is all over the place. I just can't work unless DJ is home. Like, when he gets home from work, then I'll get a power hour done. No, bro. I had to learn how to do everything on my freaking own, and it was frustrating. So anyways, I just went into all of that because I did not have to miss a moment because of the work that I've put in over these last few months. I just did what I had to do, and it's not hard, y'all. It's not hard to do this business. It's not. You just have to show up for yourself. You have to show up for your team, and you just have to grind. So anyways, do you want to go back and forth now? Or do you want me to push it back to you, and then I'll go back, or do you want me to just keep going?
I want you to keep going because I feel like we're in some momentum right now.
Okay, that's fine. So, like I said, I was going to share that last, but I felt like somebody needed to hear that. So I came from, this is where the training ties in. Being vulnerable, all of this, I'm not really like a person that puts stuff like this on social media. So I could easily say, yeah, I don't put our business on social media, so I'm not going to talk about it. Or I can show people what I'm dealing with and show up, and like people have messaged me like, how are you handling all this? My products are bomb. My income is bomb. Like, I use that to my advantage. Sometimes we have to step out the box and be who we are. We have to live in our truth and tell our truth. It's not about putting all your business out there, but you have to show parts of yourself and be vulnerable to show the way. If I didn't do that, a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people that wouldn't relate to me, and they think I'm just somebody that shows up with pretty pictures on Instagram and just leaves it at that. No. So, like I said, I came from a company where we were taught to spam. Like, I, for real, had to make 3 product posts a day, 3 business recruiting posts a day. Like, it was a lot. So, obviously, if I could keep up with that, then I could make something like this work, because we don't do that here. But I also struggle with that a little bit. Don't start him on a training. I have a teenager in the background, and he looks like he's going to say something out of the way. But I had to learn that, and it's still a process, y'all. This is what I really want you all to see and hear, is that I still struggle every day with what I should post. I still struggle with Like when I was with my last company, I was making good money. I hit the top ranks. I was a top recruiter. So I brought my husband home back then. So now I'm like, okay, do I share that he had to go back to work? How do I share that? How do I tell people that? How do I go from, oh, I'm making bank, I'm paying all my bills, I'm at home, my husband's at home, to, oh yeah, we got our car repoed in between that time, I lost all my income, we did this, we did that. Like, I struggle with that so much. And I know a lot of you all probably do too, because we do not preach the fake it till you make it. You obviously can't jump on Facebook and be like, I earn $50,000 a month. No, but you can show the little stuff. You can show that, you know, you can be repetitive in the fact that you're at home every day with your child. I get on my stories every day and they see me a hot mess just like this. My child, a hot mess in the background. Like my baby's usually all over the place. Teenagers in the background. But if I don't show up like that, I'm not relating to other people. I can make an excuse and say, you know what, I'm going to wait until I have makeup on to do this. I'm going to wait until I take my products to do this. Like, no, I will jump on my stories and let them hear my man voice before my products even kick in. Like, you just have to be vulnerable. And so I've really struggled with that a lot, and I still do to this day. So when I struggle with something like that, I make sure that I'm plugging into my leader. I make sure that I'm asking her, you know, what am I doing wrong, or what can I do better, or I'm struggling with a post, or, you know, like I have a really hard time, like I said, going from, and you all may not have made a bunch of money with another company, but I know that starting from the ground up, you can relate to that part. Like, okay, my check was only $25 this week. How am I going to share about that? You know, like stuff like that. Okay, well, I made a mini experience. Do I talk about, or I sold a mini experience. Do I talk about that? Do I talk about my $50 product credit? Like, the little stuff matters, because that $50 could have covered the coffee replacement that somebody really needs. That $25 put gas in your tank. Like, it's the little stuff that you have to, I don't know if I just sometimes feel like I'm overqualified and then I fell off all my pedestals and then I'm rebuilding and I'm like, who am I to show up and do this again? Because, I mean, I really struggle with that a lot of the time. I'm trying to keep on my notes. That way I don't go all the way off. And then another thing I have to tell myself daily is if you've been with another company and you're with this now, you know what you have your hands on. And if you could post or promote that company that obviously wasn't so great and that's why you came here, this product and this comp plan and all of the things are amazing. They're freaking life-changing. They're like nothing I've ever experienced before. Why can't I share that? Why do I get in my own head? I know how bomb the products are. So why do I doubt them? And I know Brittany had shared this again this morning in one of our groups, but it said, doubt your doubts. And then that's one of my favorite quotes is, doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith or your God or, you know, whatever you believe in. Doubt your doubts. How crazy is that? Who thinks of that? Like, you know, maybe I'm not skinny enough. Well, doubt that. How am I going to doubt that, you know, I'm not skinny enough? You just really have to check yourself. So if you're not showing up daily, whether it's posting like me, whether it's like I show up in my stories every day, it's just when it comes to those posts, those vulnerable posts that, you know, like I don't have a problem with getting on here and telling you all what I've been through. So why can't I do that on social media? Y'all are on social media with me. Like, you have to be able to learn to grow through these things, and you have to be able to just admit it. Like, I've came to Brittany like, okay, here's where I'm at. Like, you just have, and everyone has a leader like that. Everyone has someone that you can pour yourself into and figure out what you're doing wrong. You just have to show up and do it yourself. Nobody's going to be mad at you. Brittany's not going to be like, okay, I knew you wasn't showing up for your business. Like, I knew you wasn't posting. No, she's going to be like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's figure out where the block is. Let's figure out this or that. But it's all mindset. And I know that sounds so stupid because we all say, grow your mind, read your books, do your personal development. I know it sounds stupid because I was the same person. Like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to read a book. But it makes a difference. Because if you're not growing daily, I mean, you're just sitting there. You're not getting ahead. You know, it's just like if you're showing up for your 9-to-5 job every day and you know exactly what you're doing, you're just running through this routine, or if you have a job that you do have to learn new things, you do have to grow. Like, that's the difference. You're going to be bored. And if you're bored now, then that's the problem. You're not pouring into yourself enough. If you feel like you're not being successful enough, then there's a disconnect somewhere and you need to reach out. Let me think. Oh, and then there was something that I seen on one of Katie's training that I really wanted to bring this up. She said, what are the 5 hardest things that you've been through in your life? Now use that for your posts. So like for me, I know it's like pregnancies were hard for me. All of my pregnancies were super hard for me. So share that. Share how hard they are. You know, you can make a post geared towards those moms that are going through what you've been through. I've lost a baby before. That is something that I probably should show up and share more. And I'm here to admit that. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm here to tell you all, I know I need to do this. That's something I do need to share a little bit more about. My repoed cars. You think that I want to show up and talk about that? I have. Didn't want to, but it relates to somebody. I've lived with my utilities off before. Like, send your kids somewhere to spend the night because we have no lights until I get paid on this day to pay them. I mean, these are all things like living on food stamps or WIC. These are all things that I've been through and that I share. I've shared that plenty of times about living on food stamps or, you know, not being able to buy groceries or, you know, not being able to feed my kids, whatever. I want you all to just really think about the 5 hardest things that you've been through and start using that. And like I said, it's not about just putting your business out there. You know, I'm not telling you to go on Facebook and talk about your co-parenting and your baby daddy drama or whatever, but people need to know what you are going through on some sort of level. They need to know how they can relate to you and that you're not just some perfect human. Like Brittany said, people might look at her like she doesn't have anything going on. But, and then like she said, it's not just Kingston had surgery. It's a lot to that. It messes with your mind. That's your child. Just like with me, like that was my husband. You know, there was a chance that we could have lost him just from that. Surgery is not safe. We could have lost him. I mean, it's a lot. It's not just, oh, my husband or my child had surgery today, I'll be back tomorrow. Like, it's a lot to go through. And you have to work through these things daily. I don't know if I forgot anything. I don't see anything that I forgot. Did I say anything to you that I didn't cover?
I think it was perfect.
Okay.
Where you spoke to my soul, and that's why I love you, because you're very true to your vulnerabilities. And that's why I wanted you on this, because this is something that's uncomfortable for me to dig deep in. When it comes to being, it's okay to show the vulnerabilities. You guys see me put as a leader. I think sometimes you guys, I'm up, like you guys hold me up here. And in reality, I don't want you to look at me like that. I want you to see that, hey, I'm fighting with you guys every step of the way. This is a business and this is something that I have to build at daily. And I'm thankful and grateful that I face my vulnerabilities behind the scenes, but it's time to face them in front of the scenes. It's time to show, you know, the layers of what we go through, because there's women, the more you become in tuned with the things that you're being vulnerable with yourself and you dig deep in that area, the more you're going to impact someone else, because how you impact others is by helping you be the best version of yourself. And that's why Krista is the person when I thought of this training, because I really want to show vulnerability in different levels. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that because she helps me set that tone for me. And that's where it's like, we are all a tribe. We're all here to grow together. Don't look to the left or the right. Don't look to the, you know, what one leader's doing or what other leader's doing or whatever, you know, don't look at what you're doing. And this is something I had to get clear in recently. You know, I had to stop looking at what everyone else was doing because I started getting caught up in the comparison game. And I had to be like, you know what? Blinders on. Head down. Stop worrying about what my team's not doing or what they're not doing. Stop worrying about what's going on elsewhere. Worry about what I'm doing. And so we're in such a hurry to fix our issues that we avoid doing the work that it takes to tackle our deepest insecurities. A lot of times we are such in a hurry to get to the result, to get to the blessing, to get to the breakthrough, that we don't really dig deep the roots of where these insecurities are coming from. And this is what I am trying to set the tone for, because think of it like as a foundation. You can build like a little shack on just like, if you don't dig up that dirt and get fresh dirt going and be able to plant a solid ground, you can build a shack on that and it will stay sturdy. But you cannot build a massive freaking like multi whatever or high rise, because if you don't dig up that dirt to make new dirt, to make a stronger foundation so that it doesn't move, you're going to keep playing over those insecurities unless you're digging up the roots. The reason why I say this is the more you're fighting to avoid the things you're avoiding, the more you're fighting to avoid your future and your success. The more you're not facing it head on and being, you know what, this is me. I'm a hot mess express right now. I'm in this season that I'm uncomfortable. I'm in this season that I am growing more than I've ever thought me grow. And I'm in this season that I know at the end of it, there will be a breakthrough and a blessing. But no matter what, I'm going to grow. And that is a daily choice to get up and face those insecurities. And whether that be consistency, whether that be posting, whether that be self-development, whether that be how you talk to yourself. I don't know what insecurity or vulnerability you are facing right now. That is for you to look yourself in the mirror and become aware and call yourself out on it. Because the more you keep avoiding it, the more that insecurity is owning you instead of you owning it. The things that you're facing right now are meant to be faced by you. Do you not realize that? Those obstacles you keep avoiding, those things you keep putting off, those thoughts you keep thinking, the way you keep talking to yourself, the way you keep justifying your excuses and your actions are the things that you need to be following and chasing, because that is your breakthrough that you're avoiding. Right now, I don't care how uncomfortable I am. I don't care everything that I'm going through, because ever since I got engaged, I don't know if it's like a God thing, because I'm a God, like that just, I get, everyone has their own beliefs, but like me, I feel like I've been in this season of so much uncomfortable growth that I thought I've been growing before, but this is on a new level and I'm excited about it. Because I know that I'm so uncomfortable in facing these vulnerabilities and it's showing to others and I'm attracting it back. Because even though I'm uncomfortable, even though life is throwing things at me, even though I don't understand, I'm still facing them. I'm still showing up. I'm still doing it no matter what I need to do. I'm putting forth my best foot, no matter what that looks like for me right now. It's not about being perfect, you guys. It's not about having all the answers or having it all together. It's about facing you every day. Like that's truly what it is. So I kind of want to leave it. I don't want this to be super, super long, but I do want to set something up for you guys. I really want you guys, sorry, my dogs. I really want you guys to really hold yourself accountable from now until the end of the year, whatever many days that is. I want you to stop picking yourself apart. I know this sounds so silly and I can give you all the business advice or all the mindset advice, but if I can give you one piece of advice to stay consistent with the rest of the year, is the way that you talk to yourself. Stop looking in your pictures and being like, well, my arm's too big, or this is too, or I see flab, or I don't look like this, or my picture, like start speaking to yourself out of love. Start being okay facing those vulnerabilities within yourself and being okay to share them. Because if you're not sharing them, you're not growing to help others. You will only help others by you facing your own vulnerabilities. And I know it sounds so cheesy and so silly and so simple, but it truly is that. It's truly facing you on a daily. Everything else will fall into line when you do. You got to stop worrying about having it all perfectly put together. Yes, you got to have goals. Yes, you got to have consistency. Yes, you got to show up on a daily. Yes, you got to do the things. But the most important thing that you got to do in order to get all the other things working for you is to face yourself and love yourself on a daily. Because everything else will attract the way it's supposed to once you do. You got to believe in your destination in your mind before your life will ever become reality like that. So I hope this helped in some ways, because Chris has spoke to my soul, and I'm just so thankful for every single one of you, and so grateful for this season that we're all in. I really want you guys to start setting up the tone for what you're not being consistent in or being vulnerable in, and start chasing those things that you need to, okay? Because it's time. It's time to get your skin in the game, and it's time to really face these last, we have 3 weeks left this month. It's time to kill it. If you're counting yourself out or you're in your way right now, rise up and face that vulnerability. If you want these things, like, these are life-changing bonuses, and not to go to the bonus part, but this is something I want you guys to experience because you deserve it. And I believe in you. So I love you all. Have a beautiful night. Thank you guys so much for hopping on.